Hi, in this video I'd like to talk to you about rubrics in Schoology. Rubrics are extremely cool and important in terms of being able to give students a measure of how they're going to be graded in a certain assignment, as well as kind of keeping yourself straight in that regard and also making the grading process way simpler. So what you're looking at here is a quiz. It's a writing quiz, teacher graded, and this quiz is actually integrated as an assessment in Schoology. So what I've done here is I've used writing or short answer essay questions, and I've aligned these questions specifically with a writing rubric. Now, if you notice that each of the criteria for each rubric here for every question is exactly the same, that's because I believe in less work. And each rubric I've created in my course, I try to make it as generic as possible so that it captures what it is I'm wanting students to do, and I can reuse it in that way in almost every writing assignment. There are a few exceptions. So if I click on the rubric, it's going to open up the rubric that is attached to this specific question. And I've also got it so that students can see this. I'm going to show you that in a minute. But what I'm looking for in most of my writing assignments is going to be, is it well written? And by well written, I give a brief description that excellent responses are written in a complete sentence. Phrases and vague responses will not count because I want them to think about it. And I also think that the response needs to be complete. So excellent responses address all parts of the writing prompt. Evidence is provided where necessary. So I know that almost every assignment I'm going to give that's a writing assignment is going to be centered on those specific skills. Now, I want students to be able to see it, so I always want to make sure that I check this Show to Students box. Now, if I go to a writing assignment, such as this newspaper assignment, this here is simply, if I go into Add Materials and I click Assignment, that's where I'm at here. And what I did was I created this assignment, and then I aligned it to a rubric as well. I noticed that this one is not just a generic writing assignment. This rubric here pertains specifically to a newspaper project. So in the future, if I use other newspaper projects on other content, I'm still going to be able to use this exact same rubric in order to meet the needs and the requirements for that assignment. So I did create even this one in a way that's generic enough that it can be used in other assignments like it. Still, there are other examples of how this might look as well. If I look at, let's say I'm going to add an assignment here. Since I make these rubrics in my course, Schoology saves them within the course where they're created. So in order to align a question or an assignment with a rubric, where it says scale in numeric, and this works the same way even in a writing assignment, all right, you would be able to choose the rubric setting. All right, so if you click on this, you're going to see it default to numeric. I've got a ton of rubrics in here that I've created, but you might see create new. So you would be able to click on this, and it will pull up a list of just a blank rubric. You give it a title, whatever you want it to be, and then you would have a list of criteria and a description. You can also edit however many points you want in there and however many categories. You can also remove those by clicking on the X, and you have a lot of flexibility here. I want to show you that in my rubric list, I've got a set of, this right here is a specific discussion. I've got my general writing rubric. I've actually got two of them. And then I've also got a general form rubric. So if I look at this, every discussion that I assign in Schoology is going to be aligned to this particular rubric right here. I'm looking for a good initial post. I'm looking for the initial post to contain certain evidence of what it is I'm asking them for. And I'm also looking for there to be at least 2 peer responses. And I also specifically say that I agree statements aren't going to work here, and that the responses need to add to the dialogue. And again, I don't recreate this every single time. I simply use this rubric for every discussion that's not like a specific assignment that's going to have these same criteria attached to it. So really, my whole entire course so far has come down to what you're seeing here, just a handful of rubrics that can be used and aligned to individual essay questions within a quiz, and also be aligned on an entire assignment under the Add Materials block in Schoology.